you've worked in a lot of TV shows under some really legendary sketch comedy guys. That I know of, like the Bob Odenkirk with Mr. Show.
Yeah.
And Trevor Moore with the Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
Which is better, Whitest Kids or Mr. Show?
Oh, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not gonna answer that. Trevor was like a really, really close friend of mine.
Yeah.
And
would you mind chatting a bit about time and experience with Trevor? Because I'm a big fan of Trevor and Whitest Kids. In fact, in many ways, obsessed with the show. I watch their live stream episodes nowadays just to relax in the afternoons.
That's cool. Yeah. And Bob's a good friend of mine. You know, I keep in touch with him, and he's, you know, but I don't have a best. I don't pick a best or
that's
whatever,
why that's why I said it was the hardest question. That was more of a that was a bit.
Yeah, that was a bit.
But
I try not to be a ranker.
But no, absolutely.
That's a different philosophical discussion. In general, ranking, you know, or ranking yourself, you know, it's just not. It's not helpful for you. It's not helpful, I think.
And for those who don't know Mr. Show and Whitest Kids You Know, these are pretty much, in my book, the top sketch comedy shows that are ever made.
Yeah.
Because really at the height of like just like how much more can we push the envelope?
Yeah.
Kind of mess with people, offend different people, teach people stuff in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like there was so much Whitest Kids You Know that I was like, oh, dude, I don't know. Like maybe they took him out. Because he's telling, because Trevor talk about 9/11 like a long time ago, 10 years ago. Trevor talked about a lot of stuff in Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
And not like it was, you know, it was made into jokes and written into the script. But he talked about a lot of government secrets and things like there's a whole JFK stuff segment. Sketch about the JFK assassination, a whole segment about the
brilliant guy.
Reagan, the Reagan shooting, one with the dog.
Yeah, I'm in that sketch.
Yes, you're in the end.
I'm in one of the Reagan sketches.
No, that was
I was just visiting, and you're
in the end of it celebrating.
Yeah, Mr. Reagan or something like that. Yeah.
So, man, what a fun time.
Yeah,
talk a little bit about that.
I was in New York and
met them during their first season.
Before they even had the show, I was in New York and I was doing stand up. I was just out there, you know, visiting, and I had just been doing it for a year, and I was going to local open mics and that sort of thing, and trying to find shows to get booked on with my 1 year experience, you know. Cool. And there was one random guy I met at a party in LA who had this thick Boston accent, and his name was, I guess you say his name is so common. I'm not saying anything bad about him. He's a good guy. His name was John Ford, and I was like the director, and I was like, I'm a stand-up, and I'm going to New York. And he's like, you gotta look up this group called the Whitest. I can't do a Boston accent. He's like, you gotta look up this group called the Whitest Kids You Know. My friend Sam is in the group.
So Sam Brown.
Yeah, Sam Brown, and who's also like one of my best friends. And so Sam. I was like, he's like, you gotta look up Sam. And this was the like early days of Google, you know, and I don't even know if they had a website or what. I just looked at them, was like, oh, what can I find? Whitest Kids You Know, they play at pianos. Okay, what's pianos? How do I find pianos?
Oh, so they were a live sketch comedy group
They did a live show. They did a live show at a bar called Pianos in New York City every week for like a couple of years before they got a TV show.
And before they started doing stuff on video and filming it.
They were early people who were making videos. They all met. I would say most of them met at SVA Film School.
Yeah, I heard them talk about it a little bit. I don't know.
And so then they would make these videos, you know, like Trevor had the Hitler rap, and they had like the VH1 TV movie about EMF. I remember these were the kind of the
some of the early ones.
The early, like, they were just online videos, you know. It was even maybe predates YouTube.
In the beginning,
it was just on their website. They had a Whitest Kids You Know, whitestkids.com website. And you know. But so anyway, I went to the show and I watched the show and I thought it was really funny. And then afterwards, I think I walked up to Darren and I said, like, "Is Sam here?" And they were like, he was, "Oh, well, I think he left," you know. And then they're like, "Well, but who are you know? Who can I help you?" I go, "Oh, well, I'm a friend of." Sam's I met Sam's friend and he said to talk to Sam. I'm a stand-up. I'm visiting from LA, you know, and I'm wondering if I could do the show next week. And they were like, "Oh, Yeah, and they took that as like, there's some comedian from LA. There's some comedian from LA. Well, we have to, okay.
John Ford sent him.
Yeah, John Ford. Sam's friend said that there's a comedian from LA, Sam. And so I don't know if I called someone the next day or what, but they were like, okay, come back next week. You're on the show. It was really that informal. And, no fake. I mean, maybe MySpace existed, It
would have been MySpace. Dave.
But, it would have been MySpace, and lame-os would be on Friendster. But, But so I went back the next week, kind of with that uncertainty, like, am I on this show? And anyway, the short version, I could stretch the story out. I remember them being like, you're going to go on after us, and me being like, couldn't get my head around that. It made no sense. Why am I going to follow them? It's their show. I'm not going to open for them or whatever. Like, well, have you closed? And I just had never they're opening for me. That doesn't make any sense. I think they thought I was a bigger deal than I was. So I remember sitting there, they're all on stage doing their sketches, and I'm like watching them, and they're killing, and I'm just sort of like, they're gonna forget me. They're gonna forget they told me to go up, and then sure enough they didn't. But I went up, and I had like probably for that time the best set that I'd ever had. Like it went super well, and then afterwards we all hung out and became like really good friends, and then so I remember Trevor sitting and just talking with Trevor for a long time just about comedy and stuff like that. And then I would say a year or so later, I didn't really stay that much in touch with them, but they reached out and wanted me to go like on tour with them. Oh. And then I think maybe they were starting their show. And so I got in touch. Maybe I came back out there and did another show with them.
Yeah, season 1's in New York.
Anyway, so I just became really close with all of them. Stayed in touch with them, and then they moved to LA, and Trevor and I did some live shows together. I mean, he was just such a funny writer, and it's such a fast and easy, effortless writer, and like he had so many of those natural. So those I've talked about the different muscles, and for me, I have my different strengths. Like he had so many of those strengths naturally. Like he could naturally sit down and crank out a thing. I mean, he could just and the ideas would always come, and he could also sit there and just be kind of like quiet and smirk, and enjoy a thing. And then he'd have like one little, thing that would like, make you burst out laughing or make everyone burst out laughing. And I don't know. There's a video that we did for this show. We made a couple of them. The funniest one is online. It's on my YouTube channel where we did this show, and he had this. It was his idea that we would make each other, a meal.
Yeah,
for the
make
video.
each other a meal.
Have you seen this one?
Yeah, we'll play a clip right here.
Yeah.
Dinner is served.
Wow. Cool. Here we go. It's not bad.
It's not bad?
No, it is bad.
Oh, man.
No, it's not good.
Hey, soft. What? What's the matter? Oh, I forgot to ask if you're allergic to anything. Taste it with some Coke.
Is that really vomit that he's vomiting? Okay. It's good.
Good?
No.
Oh, waiter, there are a few bones in this. That is good. Let me just wash it down a little bit. That's a...
We make the most disgusting thing we can think of, but we don't tell each other what it is.
Yes.
And it's weird because at the time, it's like, I'm not a big prank guy, but it's like he had the perfect balance of sensibility. He knew how to like the thing that we did, and at the time I was like, well, I don't, like I would be hesitant to be seen like sitting and laughing about a joke. That's almost a little too like, hey, well, guys hanging out, is how I would have thought of it. But it was like,
are you talking about when you're eating it and it's hard to contain
and
your
I
laughter?
can't laugh. Yeah, and I'm trying to.
But it actually makes it more fun. It makes it more
I
endearing.
know that's what makes the video is that he got me so hard with that joke. Like I remember eating
Yours was fish and Skittles, right? Or no?
Yeah, he's like, you like fish? Josh likes fish. I'm gonna make Josh a fish.
That looks undercooked a little.
That looks undercooked?
A little bit.
Fish and
he
Skittles.
put the fish. He cooked the fish. The thing that got me was he puts gum in there, and I take a bite in there, and there's Skittles, but it's like I'm like as soon as I realize, oh my god, I taste the like mint winter green flavor or whatever. I'm like,
is that gum?
Is that gum? You know, and I made him just a bunch of shit that just made him throw up. But so I don't know. You know, I mean, that video I feel like is a good encapsulation of my friendship with him that I feel lucky to have gotten to have. You know what I mean?